How has the number of varieties of foods changed in the last 100 years? How many varieties of each food crop existed 100 years ago versus today, and does this matter?
We used to eat 1,200 species of plants across different cultures in the world. 1,200 species. And in each species, there were hundreds of varieties. Take, for example, the rice. It was evolved from a wild plant called Oryza sativa. Indian peasants evolved 200,000 rice varieties. 200,000. The Mexican peasants and the peasants in Mesoamerica took one wild plant called the teosinte and turned it into thousands of varieties of corn of every color. Why does diversity matter? Diversity matters first and foremost because each crop was bred for particular reasons. It could be different tastes, different processing qualities. It could be different climate conditions. We have saved rice varieties that can tolerate salt. So when the climate change, cyclones and hurricanes come, farmers don't lose a crop. We have rejuvenated agriculture after the Orissa supercyclone, after the tsunami, after Cyclone Phelan. This salt tolerance trait would have been wiped out with the Green Revolution push, but we saved the seeds. We've saved 4,000 varieties of rice. We've saved every lentil and every pulse and legume that Indians ate. So for nutrition, for taste, for health, for resilience, we need the diversity. Diversity is not a luxury, it's the essence of life.
Pro-GMO people say that GMOs have been used successfully to save the Hawaiian papaya industry. Does this mean to you that GMOs have a place in our food system?
No, GMOs don't have a place in our food system just because it's an extremely crude technology of shooting with a gene gun, a trait, adding with it antibiotic resistance markers, adding viral promoters. When for every trait that has been added like this, there are much more sophisticated alternatives. The Hawaiian papaya is one example, but 99.9% GMOs are accounted for by herbicide-resistant crops, mainly Roundup-ready soy and corn, and by Bt toxin crops. Both of these were supposed to control pests and weeds. The Bt crops were supposed to control pests. The Roundup-ready herbicide-tolerant crops were supposed to control weeds. What do we have within less than a decade of their use? We have super pests. The bollworm is now attacking the Bt crop, which is supposed to be controlling it, and its trade name is called Boll Guard. It guards against the bollworm, but the bollworm has outwitted the technology. In the United States, half the farmlands are overtaken by weeds that can't be controlled by Roundup, and now they're spreading dicamba, which has ruined neighboring farmers. The drift is so high. There are many sophisticated ways to control weeds through ecological farming. In Vandana, we have zero pests on our farm through diversity, because when you have diversity of plants, you have diversity of insects, and you have an amazing system of relationship between friendly insects that control the others that could destroy your crop. Ecological pest control is now established as the only sustainable way to regulate pest population. And the same goes for viruses. Give the papaya good nutrition, good soil nutrition, and select from varieties the virus-resistant papayas. You don't need GMOs. So the idea is the only way. I mean, when I started to save seeds, and we had saved the salt-tolerant varieties, Monsanto was putting up ads to say, oh my God, climate change, 9 billion people to feed. Without GMOs, we won't be able to do the work. No, all you did was try and steal our climate-resilient seeds. That's not brilliance. And good science does not need propaganda. Good science has worked in the quiet. The loudness of the propaganda machine that is a necessary companion of the biotech industry is something that should worry people.
How long before water shortages affect the Western lifestyle?
I think water shortages are already affecting large parts of the West and the Western lifestyle. I'll give you just two examples. The Californian drought is already having very, very high costs. California is a desert. It should have been farmed like a desert. It shouldn't have been mining the aquifers. It shouldn't have been diverting the rivers for the intensive irrigation for industrial farming. Or take the story of Syria. The Western lifestyle included the Western agriculture. Syria is part of the Fertile Crescent, which is where we started the farming of wheat and oats and barley. Today, the Fertile Crescent is a devastated area. And our studies show that the way the Green Revolution has ruined Punjab in India and created a water crisis, I can even show you a diagram if I can find it very quickly for you. Because of the 10 times higher use of water in industrial farming, the most fertile area of India, the land of the 5 rivers, Punjab means Panj is 5, Ab is the 5 waters. The most fertile, most water abundant part is a red zone because of chemical farming, because of industrial agriculture. But if you were to apply exactly this image to Syria, you'd find in 2009, the groundwater was finished. The rain was failing because of climate change and a severe drought. 1 million peasants were uprooted. 75% of the livestock was destroyed. The 1 million refugees moved to the cities. All they wanted was relief. The World Bank structural adjustment doesn't allow governments to help farmers. And within 2 years, war interests had found an opportunity. And today Syria is a land of an unending war. Who's fighting whom, nobody knows anymore. But I know half of Syria is a refugee living outside Syria.